Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Amrutanubhava, chapter 8 and verse 5. This is my experience of Amrut Anubhav. This experience of my being cannot be expressed in words, nor can it be comprehended by the Jnanendriyas. आमुची करवे गोठी ते जालीची नाही वाक सृष्टी अमृते देखे दिठी ते दिठीची नव्हे. No expression is found by the speech to express my being. No eyes could comprehend my form. This thought is reflected in the Taittiriya Upanishad, where it says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha, meaning the truth is that, and I am being that truth, which cannot be illumined by the five senses, or can be it is that which cannot be comprehended by the mind. Speech cannot illuminate it. Normally, speech illuminates whatever you are able to explain, but it cannot explain the. Then what the truth? Then what about the scriptures? Do they illuminate the truth? Do the scriptures illuminate the truth? Uncle? Louis?
Doesn't need to be illuminated. It's already.
Yeah, but can the scriptures illuminate or illuminate the truth?
They're a guide.
But they cannot illuminate because scriptures are words. And words they only indicate, but they cannot tell you what the truth is. And that's exactly what Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying from his personal experience. He says, words cannot tell who I am. Mind cannot comprehend who I am. To describe the experience of my being, no expression by speech can be found adequate, nor can the eyes comprehend my form. That which is comprehended by the speech is not the truth. Sat Sangha is that where the Tattva, the truth, is manifested in silence. All that is said about the truth is about the world, is not the actual truth. Both are, truth is not the actual truth. Both are beyond the reach of words. Therefore, one of the biggest sadhana is to withdraw from the world into silence. Silence cannot be illumined by the world, and the truth also cannot be illumined by the word. So, is the word silence adequate enough to indicate silence? Think. He is a man of wisdom who has rejected once and for all desires that erupt like bubbles in the mind, and who finds comfort in himself, who is totally self-contained and independent. So this point is very important. Who finds comfort in himself, he does not seek comfort outside by way of taste, by way of looks, by way of hearing, by way of uh, you know, a good bed, good clothes, good food. No, he is content in himself because his food is the Atman itself. The self itself is his food of for the mind. He is absolutely content. Whenever you start thinking that the world is separate to you, you will start eating the world. You will start devouring the world. You will start desiring the world. Do you desire after waking, or do you desire the wife or the children or the food in the dream? Do you? Nobody has ever done that. So also, if that is the case, and now I want to wake up from this waking world, don't run after it. Nothing is going to be gained. Be content. Don't follow the Joneses. Don't follow the people. Oh, everyone going to this satsang, everyone going to that temple, everyone going to studying this scripture, everyone doing this, everyone going doing that. There is no end to this. You live your life. Allow it to unfold from you. And there is no compromise for that. Let it be lived. The wherever comparison comes, gone, story over. The study of Amrutanubhava must necessarily lead to the feet of Nivrittinath, the Lord, where vritti, the thought, is totally absent. There is no thought knowledge. Nivrittinath is the teacher of Jnaneshwar Maharaj. Nivrittinath, Nivritti. Vritti means thought, Nivritti means no thought. He who is ever in silence. So if we are coming to here to study Amrit Anubhav, he is saying you have to reach a no thought state. In his Jnaneshwari, Sant Jnaneshwara thus praises his Guru. I wanted to compare the greatness of my Guru to the sun, but the sun is very hot. Then I thought of comparing him to the moon, but the moon has blemishes. The sun without the heat and the moon without the blemishes is my Guru. In this manner he explained. This is only to indicate how any attempt to describe the truth is only a stammer. The truth is that which is invisible, ungraspable. None can comprehend my form. No eyes can reach that which is beyond the eyes. I am unable to see my own being, nor can I objectify myself, nor be separate from my being. So, the truth that I am, it is incomprehensible. It cannot be an objective experience. It is the subject itself. Any attempt to experience it, will only give you lead to frustration. On one hand you say you have to experience the truth. Here Jnaneshwar is saying any attempt to it will lead to frustration. Why? Yes, we must begin our journey by seeking the truth. But when your mind is coming to a silence, after coming to that silence, don't start seeking it again because it will create more thoughts. Be in the silence. Allow the silence to pervade, take over you, but don't go to sleep. Continuing further, आमुते करूनी विखो भोगू सके पारखो तय आमुते न देखो आम ही पणे. I'm unable to see my own being, for could I objectify myself or enjoy my being separate from my being? Impossible. I cannot separate myself from myself. Subject cannot separate itself from itself. Just like eyes cannot separate themselves from themselves to see them all. I want to see my eyes. You cannot see your eyes. Similarly, the subject also cannot see the subject. When I want to objectify myself and want to know myself as an object, or when the other person comes to comprehend my essential being, both of us fail to objectify the self. Objectification of the self is a major impediment on the spiritual path. It is like a dog chasing his own tail. When I want to see myself, I is the seer, I is the seen, and the process of seeing is also I. How can there be any possibility of objectification? Therefore, no one can objectify this I, nor what is my essential nature, nor can I objectify, comprehend, and talk about myself. Therefore, it is impossible to know oneself. Not knowing oneself is knowing oneself. Mahatma Buddha must have come to this understanding that I cannot objectify the self. Therefore, shunyam, shunyam, shunyam. Because no thought can illuminate it, mind cannot grasp it. And therefore he called it shunya. Kenopanishad says he understands it who comprehends it not, and he understands it not who feels he has comprehended it. It is unknown to the master of true knowledge, but to the ignorant it is the known. It is unknown to the master, and to the student or to the ignorant it is known. Yeah, I am going after the truth. Yeah, God, yes. Self, yes, 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 yes. I am meditating on the self. It's only an imagination. So, we as an individual have an idea that there is some higher power. Does that absolute have an idea about absolute? Does that absolute have an idea about absolute? Because absolute is everything. See? Because we consider ourselves to be a personality, because we consider ourselves to be a personality, the infinite consciousness has as if frozen into individual consciousness. And individual consciousness is only a concept. It's a phenomena. It's an idea. It's a projection. And wherever this individual consciousness comes, immediately the world also comes about. Individual cannot exist without the world. See? All thoughts, all ideas, all scriptures are only for this individual. For the absolute, no scriptures, no thoughts, no mind. The drashta, the knower, can never become the known. I can neither see my own being, nor can I objectify myself, nor enjoy by being separate from my being. This struggle to express is the eloquence of spiritual experience. It is not because of the paucity of vocabulary. It is just that the subject does not fall within the purview of normal linguistic expression. I can neither see my own being, nor can I objective myself, nor enjoy my being separate from my being. I cannot call it self, I cannot know it by the mind, but I cannot be separate from it also. A wave can never come to know the infinite waters, yet it cannot be other than the waters. But it's imagining it is not water. A wave is imagining that it is not water, and therefore its journey to become one with the water. So we are also imagining that we are not the infinite. We are not the infinite. Thus, in the fifth OV, the karmendriyas and jnanendriyas were rejected. In the sixth OV, objectification was denied. In the next OV, the transcendental and eminent nature of the self is stated. Pragato lapo nalaho yethe nahi navalavo pari kaise nihi vipavo asaniyacha. Transcendental and immanent nature of being is not a wonder at all. My beingness cannot be comprehended. Swamiji says, this essential nature of my being is both immanent and transcendental, both manifest and unmanifest simultaneously. What does the individual take? What is his position? That this world needs to be rejected, this body needs to be rejected, the mind needs to be rejected, and then I have to abide in the self. This is what called nirvika. This is what the yogis do, isn't it? But what is the position of a realized master? That everything is that self alone. Transcendental, that which we are seeking is also the truth. That which is eminent is also the truth. What is manifest is also the truth. What is avyakta, unmanifest, is also the truth. There is nothing wonderful in this phenomena. When the water is talked of, no mention is made of the ocean or wave manifesting or not manifesting. But we use these terms only because in our thoughts manifesting and non-manifesting are obsessions. When they cease to be, where is the question of immanent or transcendental? When the water is talked of, no mention is made of ocean or wave. Karya Karana, cause and effect, manifestation and manifestation. They are not talked about. We are just talking about the water. We are not giving it a name. We are not calling it water. We are not calling it. Sorry, we are not calling it wave. We are not calling it ocean. We are not calling it well. We are not calling it pond. We are not calling it lake. We are not calling it drops. We are not calling it rain. We are just calling it water. But we use these terms only because in our thought, manifesting and non-manifesting are obsessions. Because that is what we see in the phenomena continuously. When they cease to be, where is the question of immanent and transcendental? This idea of immanent and transcendental is also only for the mind only, not from the absolute standpoint. Oh, I have to transcend the individuality. I have to transcend matter. This idea is only in the individual, in the mind. From the absolute standpoint, nothing needs to be transcended because it already is. So, if there is nothing to be transcended, will it call itself transcendental truth? If from its point everything is one, will it call itself I am one? It will not even call that. Because for one to be, there has to be two.
That's right.
But from its point there is nothing, it's all it is. This state of absolute being, this pure existence, is as it is, whether it is called manifest or unmanifest. Therefore, in this experience, there is no gain, no loss. In my beingness, there is no addition, no subtraction. So we are complete. Absolute is ever complete. There is no lack in it. Nothing can be taken out of it, nothing can be added to it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Truth is that out of which the whole creation comes, still it remains the complete. And what has come out is also complete. Keep thinking now, go crazy. Addition of a day amounts to subtraction of a day from the life. But it is the life which gives existence to the day, the addition and the subtraction. So our attention is on our birth and death. Oh, every birthday is making me come closer to death. It is getting, we are celebrating, but actually the joke is it is getting subtracted from your life. Isn't it? But from the life point of view, nothing matters. From the water point of view, how many births and deaths of waves come and gone, nothing matters. Isn't it? The body, the pranas, the mind, the intellect exist because of I. When one transcends all these successively, there is nothing but the joy of being. Be the I. I is not a concept. I is not an idea. I is not a projection. I is not is not a thought. It is not something to be reached. It is not something to be gained. You are already that. Be it. Where? In meditation? No. Also in meditation. Also while talking. Also while listening. Your whole 24/7 must be pervaded by this disposition that I am already that which I am seeking. The seeking is only for the mind. Remember, Swami Jnaneshwar Maharaj talking from the absolute standpoint. These are the words of a realized master. They saying you are already that. What are you seeking then? Everything that you seek or hanker for is only an experience. Experience is always of the world. Yoga, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, deep meditation, etc., etc., etc. These are all experiences of the world. They are not the truth. Are they necessary? Yes, you must go through that. But to hanker after it, to be obsessed about it, to think that without meditation my day will not be good, you are going the wrong way. You are giving too much importance to meditation. Means you are giving too much importance to the mind. The meditation drug is only for the mind, not for the self. You be the one. So the essential existence that I is has nothing to do with its manifesting in this body or in that body. It is an eternal sport. This state of one's being cannot compromise with the joy. This pure consciousness can never be denied either in the presence or in the absence of manifestation. The presence that I am cannot be erased if the world manifests or it does not manifest. I is ever. Whether the thought I appears in your mind or the thought I disappears from the mind, do you feel your absence? No. Be that. Be that. Don't shortchange yourself by thinking that thinking proves my existence. If I do meditation, I will come to know myself. This is the wrong approach. Because you are, therefore meditation is possible. Meditation is for the mind. Because I am, this waking world is possible. Because I am, the dream world is possible. Because I am, the absence of both of these is possible, which we call sleep. So the right position has to be taken. Don't get identified with the mind and its experiences. Whether the truth is saguna sakara or nirguna nirakara, with form or without form, manifest or unmanifest, it carries no meaning to the truth. To explain further, it is said that truth is both the material cause and the efficient cause. Material cause, the immanent, transcendental cause, and the efficient cause, the transcendental. Therefore, the total world becomes an object of knowledge and the knower of the world. So, in other knower of the world, the pure consciousness is not influenced by the object seen. In this way, simultaneous, immanent, and transcendental nature of being is my essential nature, and there is no wonder about it because I alone is the reality. In other words, what it says is this whole manifestation and unmanifestation of the world is the self alone. Material cause and the efficient cause. That water is the material which has gone into every wave, and water is the one which is making every wave. Water is both. Same way, this self that I am, it is the material cause as well as the efficient cause. If it is there, not there, can the waking dream and deep sleep experience come? Can the waking world and the dream world and the deep sleep world which we are experiencing, can they happen? Because the self is, therefore the self is expressing as the waker, the experiencer, and waking world, the experienced. Waker, the subject, waking world, the object. Waker, the efficient cause, and the waking world, the material. So this self alone has become the two. And now the game goes on, starts between the waker and the waking world. Then the dreamer and the dream world. So as if, like children take that bubble gum and put them in their mouth and then they blow it and then they take it back in. Isn't it? It came out of them and it went back to them. Same way, exactly like this, the waker and the waking world come out of the self as if that is also not right actually. It is not coming out and going back. But this is the best way we can say. That everything is if we can understand what is being told, it's as if the wave is coming out of water and going back to water. But it's always water. Similarly, the waker and the waking world is coming out of the self and going back to the self, but while it was expressing, it was also the self. But the individual is not able to recognize that, you see.
It sees as separate.
He sees them as separate.
Separate.
Because we have taken a position that I am separate to everyone.
And the name come.
Exactly. So this error has to be corrected. And the error is, I am thinking I am the mind. Who is speaking? The mind. Who is seeing? The mind. Who's this person? The mind. Mind is only thinking, I am Swami, I am this, I am that. While this general interaction is going on, you don't forget that you are. That all this is the sport of that self alone. This abode of my being is so auspicious and secret that I am unable to talk about it. So beautiful. This abode of my being is so auspicious and secret that I am unable to talk about it. Kim bahuna shri nivritti thevilo asau jiya sthiti te kaya deu hati vachechiya. What more could be said about the state of my being where Sri Nivrittinatha has established me? Should this such an auspicious secret be talked about to anyone? What more can be said about this abode of my own essential being, where my Guru Maharaj Sri Nivrittinath has established me? It is so auspicious, pure and secret that it cannot be talked about in public. Even if I do, it cannot be comprehended by anyone, and if anyone wants to do so, it cannot be objectified. It is such a secret and so great that it is not a matter for casual discussion at crossroads. Therefore, Mundaka Upanishad says, let the aspirant, in order to obtain the knowledge of the eternal, take the samit sacrificial fuel in his hands and approach a preceptor who is well versed in the Vedas and is established in the Brahman. Samit Pani Shrotriya Brahmanishtham. The samit or dried wood signifies the complete withdrawal of the seeker from worldly transactions. So samit is the dried twigs. These dried twigs is an indication in this verse that the student has already worked out, has become disinterested in the world, has come to understand that there is no joy, there is nothing to run after in this world. He has become totally disenchanted from the world. Not gone into depression, he has worked it out that answer don't lie in the world. Even a trace of interest in worldly affairs of the relative plane creates the wetness of asakti in the wood, the aspirant, and causes smoke. So, if that dried wood is a little bit wet, when the fire is applied to the dried twigs, instead of fire, smoke will come, if there is moisture in it. So what is the smoke indicating here? If the aspirant has not completely withdrawn from the world, has not become completely disinterested in the world, then when he comes to the teacher, he is still having some interest in the world, and he comes to the teacher. When the teacher tells the truth, then the questions come, then disturbance is there, then doubts are there, then this type of question. But what about my life? What about my responsibilities? What about my duties? What about my body? Is it not that I, but this is my reality, isn't it? That the body is there, and how will I survive if I don't go to work? And all these things come because the wood is still wet. This is the smoke. This doubt, depressions, questions, these are the smoke. And therefore, uh, hence the spiritual scriptural injunction, Shishyaya na deyam, the truth should not be revealed to a non-disciple. Bhagwan Krishna begins the Atma Upadesha to Arjun only when the latter surrenders to the Lord completely as a disciple. I am that disciple and have taken refuge in thee. Such a surrender will be total only when the commitment to know the truth is single pointed, to the exclusion of everything else. Tell me that which is beyond dharma and adharma, cause and effect, beyond time, in short, beyond all referential knowledge, so says the Kathopanishad. Therefore, Jnaneshwar Maharaj says that this state of my absolute being in which I have been established by my Guru is too sacred to be talked about in front of all and sundry. That is why great masters like Ramana Maharshi influenced the whole world by their silence. By their silence. So, all this deliberation through speech is only to impress on our mind that speech is unnecessary. When the topic is the truth, when the topic is the self, speech is important. It cannot tell the truth. And therefore the example of Ramana Maharshi. In this abode of my own existence, how can ignorance even enter? That which is ever auspicious, that which is all knowing, that which is transcendental, how can anything else, how can incompleteness enter completeness? तेथ समोर होवावया अज्ञानाचा पाडुकासया केउते मेलुया माया हो पाहिजे. In this supreme abode of being, how can the ignorance, therefore its relative, the knowledge, dare come up? Having once transcended the limited perceptions in relativity, will it again limit me? What limits us? What are the two spectrums of our mind? Ignorance, and the other spectrum is knowledge. So, in the 7th chapter, Jnaneshwar Maharaj deleted ignorance, that there is nothing called ignorance. Now he is deleting knowledge. There is nothing called knowledge. I? Everything is self. See, when you say all are self, individual is saying. From the absolute, from the water standpoint, water does not say all waves are me. Water does not say all waves are water. From water's point of view, there are no waves. It alone is. From space point of view, space doesn't say, I give accommodation to the whole universe. Because out of space, only the way air, fire, water, earth have come. All these five elements have then mixed and gathered together. It is a homogeneous, it sees everything as itself. In fact, it doesn't see anything. Space cannot have the experience of air, fire, water, earth. It's not possible because it is pervading everything. So from space point of view, nothing is separate to it because it is pervading everything, isn't it? Without space, air is not. Without space, fire is not. Without space, water is not. Without space, earth is not. Every tiniest particle of it is pervaded by space. So how can just like every tiny particle of a wave is pervaded by water? Every being of an ornament is pervaded by gold. So space is pervading everything. So it doesn't have a experience of otherness to this world. Whereas we, when we look at the world, we feel it is separate to us. See? And so is our language. I am thinking. So you take, you know that you are not the mind. That is why you are thinking. In this supreme abode of being, how can ignorance and therefore its counterpart, the knowledge, ever enter? Ignorance and knowledge are at the level of the mind, where the transaction is through the process of thoughts. In the supreme abode of being, pure consciousness has not yet manifested its knowingness aspect. In the supreme abode of being, from absolute standpoint, pure consciousness has not yet manifested its knowingness aspect. Knowing is existing as being. The moment knowingness starts operating, it gets divided into knower and known, the subject and the object. First, see what is it? Sat Chit Ananda, isn't it? Sat is what? Existence. Existence is equal to being. When this being starts manifesting as consciousness, if pure consciousness is starting to express, if you start saying, I know that I am conscious, I know that the world is there, immediately that pure consciousness has taken the position of I and the world, subject and the object. Duality begins. Knower and the known, seer and the seen, hearer and the heard. Immediately it begins. The moment knowingness starts operating, it gets divided into knower, known, aham vritti and idam vritti. Any knowledge that involves aham idam vritti falls within the purview of ajnanam, falls in the purview of ignorance. Therefore, in the supreme abode, it is impossible for ignorance and its relative, the knowledge, to appear. Having once transcended the maya of limited perceptions of relativity, can there be a rebirth of maya? Thereafter, that is a relapse back into the limited vision. See, the gopis of Vrindavan, Krishna's darlings, and Krishna was a darling to them. They never studied scriptures, they never did any ritual, they did not listen to any satsang, they did not, all they did was harbor love for the Lord, harbor love for the truth. And they are throughout their day, since Krishna came into their life as a child, they were always keen, eager, expectant to see him, touch him, feel him, caress him, hug him. And as he grew, he saw the love of theirs for him, and he conducted the Ras Leela, where they completely surrendered to him and became one with him. Having become one with him, did they withdraw into ashrams? Did they withdraw into Himalayas? Did they start wearing sannyasi clothes? Now we are realized gopis. No. After that, again they went back home. They continued doing their chores at home. So doing chores at home did not become an impediment in their realization. A Mahatma also realizes the truth, but then after realizing the truth, he is living in the same world. Doing, he is not doing anymore, but actions come out of him which are required to come out. He does not decide what I have to do or not to do. It happens. So these gopis also, after having become one with the Lord after the Ras Leela, that Ras Leela was possible only because they were completely purified, and that purification came about because so many years they have been single pointedly been in love with the Lord. Been in love with the Lord. See? So they did not want a special status. They did not give themselves a special status that we are the gopis, that we are greater than others, that we are. No. So what happened after realization? Everything is still the same, only the vision has changed. Having once transcended the maya of limited perceptions of relativity, can there be a rebirth of maya thereafter, that is a relapse back into the limited vision? Once you have come out of a dream, can you go back into the dream? Is it possible? After having woken up from the dream, have you ever gone back to the same dream? This is the basic error that you and me are making in our waking plane of experience. We sleep to the waking experience yesterday and we want to wake up in the same waking experience. Today we will sleep in this waking world and we want to wake up in the same waking world with my husband, with my children, with my house, with my car, with my responsibilities, with my duties, with my body. With my body, which was there yesterday, today also.
So we imagine continuity.
Yes, that is the basic error of the mind. And what is mind? I thought and that thought. Aham vritti and idam vritti. This I thought has taken such a deep plunge into the world and got identified with this body that he is not able to drop this continuity. This is the big problem. Yeah, yeah. Scratch your head. That is the basic error.
So we take the desires and that from the
What?
experience.
It's not possible. Do you take yesterday's dream and continue in the same dream today? Do you do that?
No.
Not possible. Not possible. But we are doing that with the waking world.
We do. We want to hang on to
Yes.
memories of it.
Yeah, exactly. So every day we project the same world from the mind so that we can maintain the continuity. See, this is the problem.
We have to break that habit.
That, yes. When I discover the completeness of my being, there is no place for perceptions of limitations. In the supreme abode of pure unconditional, natural, effortless existence, there is no transaction of thoughts in terms of aham idam vritti. So whenever attention is on something absolute, something infinite, something all pervading, something all inclusive, something transcendental, this 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 expression of subject object will stop, because all these words that I have told you, they cannot be comprehended. They are your nature. And when you start contemplating with the mind, you start contemplating on them, the mind dissolves. The duality in the mind gives way to unity, gives way to silence.
So the mind finally comes to realise the futility.
Mind doesn't come.
Yes, mind cannot come to it.
No, so it gets
See,
frustrated and drops away.
you can, thoughts drop away.
Yes.
Thoughts drop away, because essentially, what is mind essentially? The truth only, the pure consciousness. In that pure consciousness, what is wave? Essentially water. In that wave, we have created beginning and end. Similarly, in that pure consciousness, we have created I thought and that thought, subject and object. And then the whole world is a play between the subject and the object. Then this subject then projects the waker, then projects the dreamer, then projects this I. The subject and the object is the mind. Now this mind then projects the I as waker. The moment waker comes up, waking world comes up. Then he projects it as the dreamer. Then the dream world comes up. Then he projects it as the deep sleeper. Then the no world comes up. And this cycle is going on continuously. Where is it going on? Not in the self, in the mind. So this imaginary continuity, if you are following something, then principle is there, then it should be true in all the planes of consciousnesses, waking, dream and deep sleep. This continuity is only in the waking. In dream it is not there. In deep sleep, no question. So only 1/3 of your life you are taking as real. 2/3 of it you are just left it aside. Don't even spend time thinking about it. Everything is the waking. Everything is the waking. Waking is real. Parents are real. Children are real. Responsibilities are real. What about the other two? The dream world. If you are taking this real, then take those two also to be real. Then it is your complete experience, isn't it? This is how we are hoodwinking ourselves. The mind is hoodwinking itself. Therefore, applying this at the cosmic level, whatever happens is just right in the scheme of the totality. It is from this height that young Jnaneshwara could decide to drop his body, and his guru himself could prepare his samadhi. Once it is discovered that I am water, thereafter the limitations of the wave versus the ocean, the limitation of the wave with reference to its own birth and death, and to the birthlessness and deathlessness of the ocean are all transcended. So, from individuality and totality, you go beyond. Individuality and totality, micro and macro, are both concepts of the mind alone. Beginning and end is the concept of the mind alone. All inclusiveness is a concept of the mind alone. Still time. One transcends all this. Thereafter, whether the water is expressing as ocean or wave or a dewdrop, it means the same. Now look at it. See this experience. Now you have woken up from the dream. Last night you must have dreamt something. You have woken up. All the experiences that you had in the dream, all the people that you met in the dream, all the nature that you experienced in the dream, Does it have any sway over you right now? No sway. What do you say when you wake up?
Wasn't real tired.
It was just a figment of imagination, isn't it? Dream was just a figment of imagination of my mind. It was just, and that's what we call, oh, it was just a dream, and you just shrug your shoulders and move on. That shirking your shoulders or not giving importance, dream means something that was imagined. So is true about the waking plane. But we become so serious. I have to meditate, I have to realize, I have to know the self.
Because we think that this waking world is the
Real one.
Yes.
So that is the basic error. That's what I'm telling. So rather than focus on waking world is real or unreal, be the self. Let it be an all-inclusive experience. Don't create or carve out a separate personality called I the meditator, I the father, I the mother. Immediately separation comes about. No, I am that which includes everything, rejects nothing, retains nothing. That should be our disposition. Then there is no running away anywhere. There is no running towards anything, not running away from anything. Where you are, there it is. Truth is not some distance away. You are that. This is all that. But to experience this is all that, first come to know. These relative perceptions are in the realm of Maya. They are not imaginary. They are real but not complete. What the eyes see as colors and forms are real, but to conclude only this much alone is the reality is the fallacy. Jnaneshwar Maharaj does not use the word Maya liberally. He says this whole world is incomplete knowledge. So your eyes see only in a particular spectrum, ears hear only in a particular spectrum, taste is also in a particular spectrum. Just because you have only that much spectrum, is that all the world is all about? You look at a chameleon who has got an octagonal eye, how she must be looking at, the chameleon must be looking at the world. You can't even imagine. The dog or the cat, they have a heightened sense of hearing. That spectrum is not available to us. It's much more than ours. You can't even imagine what they must be hearing. So, what ours is it is a limited sphere of experience. It's incomplete knowledge. Everything is creation, but where is the divine? But because of our limited experience of it, we are not able to see the divinity in the world. Then for that, we have to go beyond all limitations, be the unlimited. Then you will see the whole thing as self alone. Just like a wave saying, I am limited, I have to become unlimited waters. All it has to do is just be the water. To be the water, this obsession that I am a limited wave must get out of the mind, isn't it? It's obsession that I was born and I am going to die. This obsession must get out of the mind. That I am the body, that I am the mind, I am the thinking person, that I am not the water, this obsession must leave the mind. Because it is already water. So is our situation. So here it says, thus having once transcended the limited perception of relativity, will they again ever limit me? Having arrived at this abode where ignorance is no entry, has no entry, where is the question of glorifying knowledge or something great? So, having come to this infinite, transcendental principle that I am, then from that point of view, where is the question of knowledge and ignorance? Knowledge and ignorance are only two spectrums of the mind. You have gone beyond the mind. Continuously ruminating over these type of ideas will ideas will not take us there, but till the mind is there, we have to do something. Think in this manner so that we come to it. Every thought must propel you. Not can't say propel you, cannot. Every thought must knock on the door of reality only to realize that it is unable to open the door of reality. And eventually thinking will stop. And thinking will only stop when this goes deeply within, that I am already, that I am seeking. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.